Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to have some fighting words. But before we go any further, you know the routine. I need for you to like this video and also please subscribe to my channel. So, we all saw the press conference with Tank and with Rolly. And I got to tell you, I was very entertained. I mean, it wasn't the highest level of trash talk. This was not Mayweather McGregor. But it was fun. It was very fun. There were some moments where things definitely got serious. Tank is talking about shooting, and I'm from the city, and what happens in the city, and we would kill you guys in the street, like, and it's like, okay, and then it's like Baltimore, DC versus the West Coast. So it was interesting. I liked it. I liked it. I liked the fact that the coaches didn't have a whole lot to say. They're just like, you just keep on talking. Rolly is entertaining. Rolly is entertaining. Rolly is good for boxing. Listen, you have good guys and you have heels. It was Bob Arum who, when he had Floyd Mayweather, he was like, he could be so much more. He could be like, the black version of Oscar De La Hoya if he would just play the game. And it was Floyd who was like, listen, somebody's got to be the bad guy. He's like, listen, I'll be the bad guy. It's all good. I'll be the bad guy. The freedom in the bad guy is you can do whatever the heck you want. You can say whatever you want. I'll be the bad guy. Listen, when you have these matches, you have like a well, Tyson Fury and anybody, right? Especially Klitschko. Klitschko doesn't talk, or he's not a rude person. You can just tell by nature he's not a rude individual, and then you have a Tyson who doesn't care. Like, he really doesn't care, and that's Rolly. Rolly does not care. He doesn't give people respect, and quite frankly, you're in a fight game. Why should he give you respect? You two are gonna fight. Why should he respect you? Why should he acknowledge anything that you've done? You guys are gonna fight. So I don't blame him. And more power to Rolly for having self-confidence and self-belief in himself. Belief in himself. And saying he's gonna knock him out. Listen, he's got a few knockouts on his record. He doesn't have a bad record. It's not a deep, extensive record, and it's not like a who's who of fighters. But he has enough on his record to be confident within himself to say, this is clearly what I do. I knock guys out. I don't beat them up. I don't go to decision or anything like that. I get them out of there. The judges will not be needed when I fight. Much respect to him for that. Much respect to him for not getting up there. One of the things I respect, because it's like, all right, let's be cordial to one another. But it's like when you get two guys who want to just sit there and compliment each other all night. Well, he's this and he's this and he's really good at this. If you get the chance, go back and look at Tony Bellew versus Alexander Usyk. And Bellew's just like, he's great. He does this great. He's so great. And I'm just like, dude, you are trying to sell a fight, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want us to believe that you have a possibility of beating this man. And he spent half the time talking about how great he was. No, you need to have some self-belief, and you need to be like, you know what? Yeah, he's good at what he does, but I'm good at what I do. And I'm going to trust and believe in myself and my abilities on the night of. I'm not going to be overshadowed by what he does or what he did recently or anything like that. He's got knockouts. Well, I got him too. So Rolly's something else. He came there with the fur. That was hilarious. Tech was like, dude, it's like 80 degrees out here. What are you doing? Like, we get it. You want to be WWE, which, maybe his way about it is comical. It's very comical. You can just tell that's not his particular style or anything like that. So it's comical. But it's fun. It's fun. It's entertaining. You guys got to understand. At this point, we don't have the fight. They're not doing anything. So, they can still keep us entertained with how they treat each other, with how they talk to each other. And the way Tank is talking, it's just like, if I were to see you in the street, this will be a totally different scenario. This would be a totally different thing. Tank is sitting there talking about, shooting bullets and you guys won't shoot back and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not mad at this. I actually like a more vocal Tank Davis. And you can see he's getting more comfortable. In the early days, Floyd would just kind of talk for him. Leonard Ellaby would just kind of talk for him, and now Tank is becoming a lot more vocal, and I like that. He's maturing. He's maturing basically in front of our eyes, and definitely on that mic. So I'm really happy about that. Is it just me, or did anybody else just notice that Floyd, no matter what, knows how to make it about Floyd Mayweather? Every time he talks about Tank, he ends up talking about himself, what he did. This is what I did in my career, and this is what I did, and it's just like, okay, but not about you. Not about you. This fight ain't about you. Not about your record. And he's fighting Rolly, for goodness sake. This is not about records. Like, he's fighting Rolly. Not about records. It has nothing to do with records or anything like that. But Floyd, no matter what, knows how to wiggle his way in where it's just like, you guys know I'm still relevant, right? Like, I'm the GOAT, right? Just in case, I just felt the need to let you guys know what I've done. And Tank is good too. Tank could possibly do what I did, and I think that's pushing it, quite frankly. Not to say that Tank doesn't have a lot of skill and Tank isn't still growing. He definitely has a lot of room to grow and mature. But the way Tank fights, he definitely won't have a career like Floyd Mayweather. Tank gets hit too much. And two, Tank is kind of comfortable with getting hit. He won't necessarily move all that much, especially not to give up position. He won't move all that much. I don't believe he'll have a career like Floyd Mayweather. In order to have a career like Floyd Mayweather, you would have to be a lot more active, especially in your early years. And I'm talking about when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. Be a lot more active and take on the biggest fights possible, at least in that stage. He was definitely taking on the biggest fights possible. So, and I don't necessarily see Tank doing that at this moment. They're being very strategic with his career. I hate it when people say, well, he's young. Listen, Cassius Clay was young when he fought Sonny Liston. Mike Tyson was young when he fought Larry Holmes. I mean, I can go on and on and on with these. So I don't want to hear the whole he's young thing, especially not in boxing. If you want to say that in another sport, by all means, go ahead and say it in another sport. But don't say it in boxing because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. George Foreman was young. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And these guys are champions. And we still talk about these guys today. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to talk about how young somebody is and give them time to mature and grow. That's what training is for. That's what the gym is for. That's what sparring is for. But overall, this video is about the press conference, and I gotta tell you, like I just said, I was very entertained. I like that, Tank, even you can tell he was getting annoyed, but at the same time, he's like, I can't take this guy serious. This guy reminds me of Jake Paul. Like, I can't take him that serious. And it's funny that Tank gets up and says to Rolly, all you guys keep talking about is power. He's got power. And he's like, okay, fine. Power's not going to. But I think you forgot, when everybody talks about Tank, all they talk about is the power. They talk about the guy's power. That's all they talk about when they talk about Tank. Tank has a lot of skill. And you can tell there's a lot of mature things going on when he's in the ring. But because he's so powerful and the way he takes guys out, especially in his last bout, it's just you kind of forget all that other stuff prior that led to that, because that was so devastating. And it's just like, dude, you do know that's how they speak of you. They speak of you with power. It's funny, when I play this fight out, I think most people would just say, Tank is going to beat him. But I'm not going to say they're similar, because they're not. Tank is a lot more compact, and when I mean compact, I mean he's never wide. His arms are never fully extended or anything like that. He's always cocked and loaded. Um, Rolly, on the other hand, is very wide. Rolly, on the other hand, okay, let me say it like this. When I look at this fight and these two fighting, I think about finishing. And Tank is a much more clean, sufficient finisher. Crisp striking when finishing. Rolly is more wild. He gets a little wild. He already has wide shots, but when he feels someone's hurt, or he smells blood, he gets even wilder. Like his shots are really, like he gets a little wild and wound up, and he puts a lot on that one thing, and he's cocking all back, and Tank doesn't do all that, and that's another thing about him crouching so low. Crouching low, you don't necessarily have to do the wind back and all that, because you're crouching so low and it's going to come from your legs. So I think it's going to be a difficult night for Rolly. If they've been working on that with him, great, but it could be a very difficult night for him if he looks to fight the way he's been fighting in the past. If he looks to be doing what he's been doing in the past, and especially, the thing is, the way Tank fights, he gets hit. So a lot of times it can look like you're doing something to Tank, but you're not, like, it's not affecting Tank. Yes, you hit him, and yes, you hit him several times in this round. Yes, you might have hit him several times in this one sequence in the round, but it's not affecting him. It just looks like it's affecting him, but it's not affecting him. Because like I said before, Tank will allow that to happen for proper positioning so he can do what he wants to happen. So it's okay. If you're going to pepper me with something, that's fine, as long as I can get my foot another 6 inches to the right and I can cock this thing back a little bit. That's fine. You can pepper me a few times. You hit me 2-3 times. That's kind of the way Tank is. He'll let you hit him. He'll let you hit him. I do think he's skilled enough and he's fast enough to where he doesn't have to fight like that. But maybe because of his height, and I also just think it's because of his power, what he generates, why not? Because with him, it's all about torque. And he can deliver a powerful punch at any given time. And the way Rolly fights, Rolly would hopefully not allow Tank to come in, but I feel like he will allow Tank to come in. Tank is just a better finisher. Rolly has finishes, but for the most part, Rolly has sloppy finishes. He never has like a clean, crisp punch, on the button, and somebody just goes out and he doesn't like try to do a follow-up and miss or something like that. He doesn't have that. Tank has that. And again, that's positioning, that's timing, that's the right torque in that punch. That's trusting in the power of your punch. That's trusting I hit him where I wanted to hit him. I hit him on the button. So I know he's not coming back from that. Deontay Wilder says that a lot, would say that in the past. He's like, nah, I felt the way I hit him. He's not getting up in that. He's not coming back from that. And he would be really confident in himself. So that's what you need. That's what you need. Overall, though, like I said, I'm excited about this fight. I'm really excited about Rolly. I actually like Rolly. I feel like, honestly, with these two, they could have gotten like maybe another press conference out of this if they wanted to. Just because the way Rolly is, because Rolly's the type of guy who can draw things out of his opponent. Maybe you just think, oh, I'm just going to come to the press conference and, just say my usual, thank my trainers, thank the promotion, and thank you all for coming, and it's going to be a great fight. You know what I do, something like that. Then you get a guy like Rolly who talks so much, you're like, by the time you get to the mic, you're like, I want to kill that guy. And it comes out, all that emotion comes out. And you could tell that's what happened to Tank. By the time he gets to the mic, he's literally just talking to Rolly, and the mic is right here, so we can't really hear that well because he's just talking to Rolly. Rolly's just getting under his skin, and Tank had to pull himself back and like, you're wearing a fur in 80-degree weather. I can't take you that serious. And that's when he came back down. But then he comes back up and he's like, don't talk about street stuff and don't, because in the street you guys would be dead. When he said that, that was priceless for me. That was priceless. I'm like, I'm back on your team, man. That was priceless. You guys would be dead, you know. But overall, I'm excited about this fight. I'm excited about making a fight breakdown for this fight. You got two young guys, both undefeated, both, you know, solid power. It's going to be a step up for Rolly in terms of competition, but it's also going to be dangerous for Tank because Rolly does hit hard. Rolly does hit hard. So listen, as long as you hit hard, you got a puncher's chance. Like everybody talks about Deontay Wilder. Well, he doesn't have the best skills in the world. Yeah, but he hits harder than everybody else in the world. So as long as he has that one attribute, it's really all he needs. That's really all he needs. It's an equalizer, and it works. It's worked, what, 40 times in a row? Something like that? 40, 41 times? 40 times, I believe. But it's worked, and he's perfected it. Well, Rolly's working on perfecting his craft, you know, and one thing I will say, he talks a lot of trash, but he's in the gym. He's not just talking trash. He is in the gym. He is working. You know, I believe he purposely took off, you know, came in without a shirt so he could show Tank, I already got my abs. I bet you're trying to work on getting yours. You know, so he's working. He's working. You can talk trash, especially when you're working, you know. And I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. And I don't feel like if, you know, whoever wins or loses, I should say Rolly loses, I feel like it's something he can learn from it. You know, I don't necessarily know what Tank could learn from a loss from Rolly. I'd probably say nothing. But if Rolly loses, he lost to somebody who has, you know, more on his resume and, you know, kind of been around, and he's got the tutelage of Floyd Mayweather over here. So it's not the biggest cry in the world or anything like that. Look at Canelo. Canelo lost to arguably, you know, in my opinion, the best boxer of maybe 40, 50 years, in my opinion. And I can make a video about that and back that up. But whatever. Those are my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on the press conference. Tell me what you think. Tell me, you know, who you got, who you're picking, why you're picking them. And, you know, as always, like I say, please share these videos. Please like these videos. And thank you for all the people who have shared the videos, liked the videos, and also send messages. I appreciate it. And as always, drop your comments down below.